Hi friends, and welcome back to a new episode of Let's Talk Elvis.
I'd like to talk to you a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of the things that happened from my side of the story. There's been a lot written and a lot said about what happened to me, but never from my side.
So today we are going to be continuing the Elvis Week content just a little bit more, and we're going to be talking about kind of like an Elvis Week recap. This was my very first Elvis Week that I went to this year, and if you're watching this on YouTube, I mainly posted and kept updating on Instagram. I didn't post anything on YouTube actually, just because I was planning on vlogging. I was planning on doing things like that and making some content, but I just kind of didn't want to when I was down there. It was just, I wanted to be in the moment and I wanted to enjoy every single little second that I had down there and not have to worry about anything else. And I'm really glad that I made that decision. So if you don't follow me on Instagram already, if you're watching this on YouTube, that's definitely the place to be if you want like those daily updates and things like that. I'm most active over there, like I always say. So I will leave that linked in the description below for you guys. I posted a lot of pictures from Elvis Week, and I have a little highlight on my profile from Elvis Week, and all that good stuff, all that jazz. So today I'm going to be answering some of your guys' questions that I asked you guys on Instagram again. Let's talk about Elvis Week. What did you guys do? Any questions or interests that you had from me? So that is what we're going to be doing today, and let's just get started. Oh, somebody asked, will you go back again next year? Absolutely. It's definitely my plan to go back next year. Of course, I can't say anything for 100% sure because, you never know what's going to happen in the world, but hopefully if everything goes as planned, I will definitely go back next year. What all Elvis merchandise did you get? I'm actually going to be doing a whole separate video on like a little Elvis Week haul. I know a couple people are probably going to be doing that, so you guys can look forward to some awesome content like that. But I did pick up a lot of cool goodies there, so I definitely wanted to make a whole video kind of dedicated to that. Who was your all-time favorite Elvis person you met there? This is such a hard question because before this Elvis Week, I had only met like 2 Elvis people, but during Elvis Week, I had the opportunity to meet so many wonderful people, and I cannot pick just one favorite. I loved meeting Tish, Elvis's nurse. She was very, very sweet to me, and I loved hearing her talk. She's a very genuine person, and you could tell that she doesn't play around, she doesn't sugarcoat things, and I really love that. I loved meeting Donna Lewis, you guys. Donna Lewis was like, probably listening to her talk, I could just sit and listen to her for hours and hours. She was so lovely as a person. So again, so genuine. And just hearing her talk, like, it made me tear up every single time because she was just so, it's heartfelt in everything that she said. If you guys don't know who Donna Lewis is, I'll put a picture of her with Elvis right here. She has an iconic picture with Elvis that we all post on Instagram, and I never knew who it was until I was at John's festival, and he was like, oh, you know this picture? Well, she's standing right over there. And I was like freaking out, and she was just so lovely. I loved meeting her. She was great. But I loved meeting like every single Elvis person that I had the opportunity to talk to, and I'm so blessed to have been able to meet some really cool people. How did it feel to go tour the house on the 16th? So for those of you guys who don't know, I took my Graceland tour on the 16th, which is the anniversary of his death. And honestly, it didn't feel like anything super different. Like, it was just like most of the times that I've gone through, very, it's like the rest of the world just shuts off when I'm in there, and like nothing else, like I can't hear anything else, I can't think about anything else but just being there and soaking that all in. I will say though, on the 16th and on the 15th, I was like an emotional wreck. I was very emotional, and I don't know exactly what it was. If it was just my first Elvis Week or what it was, but this time I was so very emotional. And so everything set me off, honestly. So that was something, touring everything and seeing everything on the 16th when I was already very, not upset, but you know what I mean. Added a whole nother level to it. But as far as like feeling his presence or feeling anything like that, it was pretty much the same as all the other times I went to the house. What moved you the most at Elvis Week? 100% the vigil. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that moment, that night. It was just so surreal to see everybody there for one reason, to celebrate one man, and all of the reverence and respect in the world. Just, it was absolutely life-changing, that vigil. I just will never forget that night. When everybody just kind of lit their candles and stood there in silence, and they played like Bridge Over Troubled Water, and walking up like the driveway at night and just seeing the lines and lines of crowds of people with candles just all standing and being respectful and waiting to pay their respects to someone who meant so much to them. It's like mind-blowing, and at the same time, like, nobody deserves it more than Elvis. So it was just amazing to be there that night, and that moved me the most, for sure. What's your favorite item you bought in Memphis? Girl, I will definitely bring that out in my haul video, but I got 2 pieces of memorabilia that were literally high on my bucket list. I cannot even believe I came back with them because, girl, bucket list items for me, I'm like, I'll never get them, but they're on my bucket list, you know what I mean? But I'm so excited that I was able to get these. So if you guys want to see my haul video, definitely stay tuned. It should be up after this video. My friend D asked, what did you most absorb? And because of D, I have really been intentional about being in the moment and absorbing things and just being like meditative while I'm at Graceland. It sounds so crazy. It sounds so crazy to someone who's not an Elvis fan, me sitting here talking about like, and then I sensed his spirit and I was just like in his presence. Like, that stuff is probably so weird to hear, but I've really been intentional about absorbing things while I'm there and just taking in every single thing, and not so much capturing it all on my phone and being worried about taking this picture and this video and doing this and this, but just like closing my eyes and feeling like the breeze in the backyard when you're standing in his backyard, like stuff like that. It's like I am standing in his yard, or I'm standing in his living room. Like, it is not like, oh my gosh, Elvis stood here. It's not like that kind of thing. It's just like, this is as close to him as I will ever get. And it's sad in a way, but it is so special that us as Elvis fans have an opportunity and have this privilege to do this kind of stuff and to get this close to someone who meant so much to us. And for some of us, like me, a young girl, a young woman, I never will get anything more than this. Like, this is all I get. I never get to see him in person. I'll never get to hug him or tell him how much, those kind of things. So being near to things that he loved and being in his hometown that he loved, things like that, that's the closest I'll ever get to kind of connecting with him in that way. And I think that's really beautiful. And I'm so grateful that those opportunities are made available to us. Your favorite Elvis story from people who knew him. Tish actually had some really funny stories, like stories that I'd never heard before. So it wasn't like, oh yeah, I remember hearing about that, but it was like brand new stories that just were funny. It just like kind of showed the funny side of Elvis. There was a time where he was like trying to figure out how to sew on her like sewing machine, and she said like, oh, Elvis all the time, like he only knew 2 speeds, like no speed and fast. And so he was like pressing down on the pedal and he like booked it and he like ran across and it went really fast. He like jumped out of his seat and he's like, oh, I don't forget what she said, but like almost ruined like my guitar finger or something like that. It was really funny. Those kind of stories. Or there was a part where or a story that somehow they ended up on the floor like laughing, and he fell or something, and like she was laughing and he was laughing, and they were just rolling around on the floor laughing together. It's just those kind of things where it's just like, he was just a dude, like he was just a guy, a normal guy, and hearing those stories just really make my heart smile. So stories like that. Kelsey, Oh My Presley says, so glad I met you, one of my highlights. Girl, meeting you was one of my highlights, meeting all of my Elvis friends who were there. You guys have no idea how much that meant to me. Like, this Elvis week was so wonderful, and that was definitely one of the things that made it so great, was meeting people that I've known online for like 2 years or something crazy, and then finally meeting you guys in real life. It's just so special. And Kelsey, I'm so glad I got to meet you and spend some time with you as well. You are such a sweet person. Did you prefer Elvis week or nearly alone time at Graceland the weeks before? So in May, I went before and I was able to tour the house by myself, and like the museums and everything like that. Definitely very different, but I can't pick which one I liked better because they were both different in their own way and both amazing in their own way. And so I would take both of them at any time. There's things that I absolutely adored about going by myself, of course, but then there's also things I adored about going during Elvis week. So I can't pick just one. They were both amazing, amazing times to go. What is an absolute must for a first timer? If you're going to Elvis week, an absolute must would be to definitely take advantage of the morning walk-ups. They have like all these tributes and like flower arrangements and everything set up on your way up in the mornings, and it's just beautiful. So I would definitely say do that. Definitely go to the vigil. I know I'm going to talk about the vigil so much during this video, but definitely go to the vigil. You have to go. Another thing is go to John's festival, the EP Boulevard Pawn Shop Summer Festival at the Holiday Inn Express. One of my favorite things that I've ever done in my life was go to that festival, and I cannot wait to go back. It was amazing. You get to meet, you never know who you're gonna meet there. Basically all the Elvis people that I met at John's festival. The things that he has there, the memorabilia that he has there, just the atmosphere of being around so many people who are hyped to be at Elvis week and so open to talk about him all the time. And it's just like a meeting place, a gathering place for Elvis fans, and it is awesome. So you definitely do not want to miss out on that festival as well. What was your favorite thing to do there, and what was your favorite Elvis tribute artist? My favorite thing to do while I was there was probably hang out at the festival and go to the morning walk-ups. Those two things, perfect. And my favorite Elvis tribute artist was probably Dean Z. I love Dean. I love me some Dean. I am a huge Dean Z fan, so love Dean. Honestly, I got to meet him and it was everything and more. You know when you meet some people and you're like, oh, they're not what I expected them to be? Dean was even better than I expected him to be, okay? So, what was the first thing you did when you arrived in Memphis? I went to Marlowe's. That is a tradition for me and my mom. We always go to Marlowe's, and I actually met up with Sophia.
Okay, you ready? All right, let's go this way.
Stop it! My bestie girl. I had such a good time with Sophia in Memphis. You have no idea. Like, our rooms were right by each other as well. We were right across the hall from each other. It was like a dream. I absolutely adored meeting her. And so when we got to Memphis the first night, that was the first thing we did. We went to Marlowe's and I met Sophia like as soon as I walked in the door, she was right there. So I'll never forget that. I think I'm going next year. Will you be there? And what do you recommend packages and ticket wise? So like I said, I plan to be there. I hope I'm there, and I hope I can meet you. That would be awesome. If you see me, come say hi. And then as far as packages and tickets go, I always recommend doing the package, the ticket thing that is like right below the ultimate like VIP entourage, like the highest, most expensive package. Do the one below that. In my opinion, that one is superior because you don't have a tour guide, so you don't have to keep up with anybody. You don't have to feel rushed. You can opt to have like the headset and the iPad, but if you don't want that, like me, and you don't want to hear John Stamos talking to you the entire time you're trying to enjoy being in Elvis's house, I recommend just putting in your earbuds and like listening to your favorite Elvis music, your favorite album, whatever. It definitely changes the experience of touring the house. And like I said, you get to stay in there for longer because you don't have to keep up with a tour guide or somebody like moving you along or saying, okay, moving on to this room, like when you're not done sitting and enjoying the room that you're already in. So that is definitely what I would recommend. I know some people might have different opinions and that's fine, but for me, that is what made my time so special there the most special. Favorite room inside of Graceland. I love the racquetball building. That's my favorite room overall, or my favorite space overall. I also really love just walking into the house, like the foyer, the stairs, like the living room, the dining room on either side. And I love the jungle room. There's something so peaceful about the jungle room as well when you're just standing there and looking into it. Yeah. Was Priscilla there? Yes, she was. I saw her at the Vigil, and I also saw her at the Elvis in concert event that we went to. And no matter what your feelings are about Priscilla, it was still pretty cool to see somebody who was involved in Elvis's life at any capacity, because those people are quickly dwindling. So my chances of meeting them are quickly dwindling. So it was really cool to see somebody who was involved with Elvis in some way. Michelle says, my goal is 2024. I have a fear of flying, so I have time to get over it. Michelle, once you get there, everything else will just seem so insignificant, and I promise it'll be worth it. So girl, I got you. Elvis is waiting for you there. You gotta go. And it'll be awesome. So don't let anything hold you back. Once you get there, your problems will just fade away. It'll be amazing. How early did you have to be there to wait in line for the Candlelight Vigil? We were there at, I think, like 7:45 or 7:30, around that time. And they did like an opening ceremony type thing around 8 o'clock, which I definitely cannot stress this enough. You have to be there for that. That was amazing. And then like we waited in line for maybe like 2-3 hours, but it did not seem like that. It did not seem that long because, you know, they have like Elvis music blaring. If you walk with some of your friends, I walked with like Alexa, Travis, Nadia, and it was awesome. So if you walk with some people that you know, you're not like too lonely. Elvis blessed us with amazing weather that night. It was like cool, there was a breeze, it was lovely, you weren't dying of heat. And I know some people say like it can get really hot, but when I was there it was not bad at all. And then of course I met Dean Z when I was waiting, so that was pretty cool too. But I definitely recommend getting there in enough time that you can catch that 8 o'clock opening service kind of ceremony. What's your favorite picture you took while there? Girl, I don't even know. I took so many pictures that I love, just like people that I met there, whether it be from the Elvis world or from Instagram, whatever. I love those pictures. I love the pictures of Graceland that I took, like the house on the outside, and I love the videos I took of the meditation garden. Like, oh, I love it all. My camera roll is full, but it is happy. It's a happy camera roll, so yes. All right, so the last question I'll be answering, so this video doesn't get too long, is experience of your first vigil and the first after COVID. So I guess I already talked about this, but my first vigil was absolutely life-changing. It was so beautiful. You hear people talk about it and you see pictures of it, but you never you can never fully understand how amazing and beautiful it is until you're there. And just seeing how many people are there to just love one man and be there for respect of one man. It is just absolutely beautiful. I could honestly make a whole video talking about it because I could just go on for days about the vigil. It was amazing. But as far as after COVID goes, I know like in 2020 they made you like reserve a spot and everything. They didn't make us do that this time. I wore a mask. You could choose not to if you wanted to. it was really not that different, I guess, from just like any normal vigil. Like, it was still pretty crowded. It wasn't like, that didn't ruin anything, but like there was a good crowd there. Yeah, it wasn't anything different, I don't think, because of COVID. I think it was pretty normal, or as normal as it's gonna get. So it was just lovely, and I cannot wait to experience it again. All right, guys, so that is all I have for this video. It's a little lengthy, so I hope, you know, maybe just you listen to it while you were getting ready or something like that. That would be cool. But I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope very, very dearly that you guys had a wonderful Elvis week and you were able to celebrate a man's life who changed ours in the best way that you could, whether you were at Graceland or whether you were at home. I hope that you just had a lovely, lovely celebration, no matter how you were able to do it. And thank you guys so much for your lovely like DMs and messages and comments and everything during Elvis week. It really just, I just feel so grateful, and I don't know. I'm at a loss of words. I can't even explain how I feel about Elvis, but I love him so much, and I'm forever grateful that I found him and for everything that he has brought to me. It is great. Yeah. So hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend or your week whenever you're watching this, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.